Hello, my name is Vinyl Vertigo, or DJ Vinyl Vertigo, and I'm saying hello to the VC. And honestly, when I started this channel, I was inspired by people like Mazzy, Norman Maslov. Um, I was inspired by mainly him. Yeah, I'm not going to go into all the details. I think I'll go into more of it later on. But something just occurred to me. I was cooking dinner just now. I had just finished doing a video. And I was thinking about what sets me apart from anybody else in the VC. Why should I even have a channel? And I thought about it. And I realized, everybody has to have their own thing. Not a gimmick, but a reason to be there. I think. Um, it's a sense of community, yeah. But why me? Why you? Why whomever is having a channel? And I just realized that we all have a story to tell with the music that we love. And I realized that that's my purpose. And I think that's everybody's purpose. And I just couldn't find my story. The story's been there all along. Um, Obviously, I'm a black man. I'm from New York City originally, from the South Bronx. I was a very shy kid, real bookish. They used to call me Poindexter when I was a little kid. And I was very introverted. Didn't have a lot of friends. I had friends, but I didn't go out a lot, didn't hang out, didn't play a lot of sports, as most of the other kids did. Couldn't hang out a lot late because my parents were very strict. So it was limited what I did socially. But the one thing, other than watching Alfred Hitchcock movies, the one thing that grounded me, the one thing that made me feel most at home and most comfortable in my own skin was listening to music. And I listened to music that was handed down to me. I listened to music that other people liked. I listened to jazz because of my father. I listened to reggae because of my brother Wayne. I listened to Motown music and stuff like that because my sister, Mona Lisa. I listened to rock and roll because my brother Champ. My brother's name is Melvin, but we call him Champ. I listened to country music because my mother Millicent, and my father's Melvin. Okay, and so my taste became very, very broad because I had all these different things that I listened to because I looked up to everybody in my family. I'm the youngest. And I was, again, like I said, I was in the South Bronx, very introverted, very shy. And I started to go downtown by myself to explore Manhattan. And I found myself being more and more attracted to going to nightclubs that had live music. Also, clubs that you can dance in. I became a club kid, that's for sure. And I love dance music. I have no shame about that. But I started to go to rock clubs. And the reason why I did that, I think one night I was walking down St. Mark's Place and I bumped into these wild, crazy looking group of British kids. And they were freaky, but they were seemingly, there was an energy that they had that I gravitated towards. I wanted to see what that was about because, again, I was very introverted and these guys were not. They were just the opposite. And for some reason, I locked eyes with one of them, and basically we got to talking, and they said, "Come along with us, and we're going to go down to this place called the Rock Bottom." It turns out that these were some of the members of the Sex Pistols, and they were performing at this place called the Rock Bottom. And I went there, and I watched these guys perform. Now, I didn't get to talk to them afterwards. It was kind of like a moment. It was just a moment. but I was welcome in their circle just for that moment. And I then realized that punk rock and new wave and alternative, it wasn't called alternative at the time, underground music was for me. Now I realized hip hop had already started. Rap was happening in New York, in the Bronx. But the and I felt like that was part of my existence and part of my growing up and seeing those people. I saw a lot of these people when they were just starting out, MCs and rappers and all these people, beat breakers and all that kind of stuff, all that beat street stuff. I saw all that stuff growing up in my neighborhood, but I never felt a connection because I always felt like I was like the weird, bookish, nerdy black kid who didn't fit in with that. I appreciated the music. I hung out with the people in that world, but I was always thought of as like, well, he's the nerdy guy, you know. I wasn't thought of that way when I went downtown. I kind of fit in there. I just wore jeans and t-shirts, and I started to rip my t-shirts and that kind of stuff. And the people in my neighborhood thought I was kind of weird and getting crazy. So the punk world I felt more accepted in at that time. And so I realized that whatever kind of music that I could get into and whatever group that I could be accepted into, and I was accepted in the punk world for some reason, and the new wave world, the downtown scene, the East Village scene, as a black kid from the Bronx, no one judged me, no one looked at me like I didn't belong. I just was there. And so I always tell people, I said, I was born again into punk. Now, I didn't stay with punk that long. I got more into new wave. That was more my thing. But that was my beginning with the whole downtown scene. And then getting into the music industry is a whole other story, which I'll tell later. But I realize now that I think my avenue as having a channel is to tell people, to tell you, if there's a type of music that you really, really love, and there's a type of style of music or genre or an artist that you really like, and you feel like you can't talk about it because other people will ridicule you for it, don't feel that way. Be very, very adamant about your taste in music. Everyone's taste is valid. And so I'm going to talk about things like that. I hear a lot of people in the VC, and I don't want to, it's not a criticism. This is just what I have observed. And I don't need to change anyone out there. How they act, how they elucidate any of their feelings about music or artists or genres or whatever. If you like something, you like it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. That's fine. However, if you're hearing that kind of stuff and you feel like you can't get your point across or you can't talk about the kind of music that you love, don't feel that way. Stand firm with your music that you love. And I think that's what I'm going to be focusing on, because there's artists that I really, really care about and I really like and I think are valid, and I hear stuff out there, people kind of rolling their eyes or laughing at it or thinking that it's not as good as what they like. Again, everyone's taste is valid to them, to their experience, and I'm really happy to have come through this breakthrough. This is what I'm going to be doing here on in. I'll talk about things that I've been listening to, of course, but I think what I want to start doing is focusing on artists that I believe that need to be spoken about or understood better, because sometimes people kind of throw things off. For example, people kind of put Madonna in a certain box. Boom. Or they put, I don't know, whomever. For example, I'm going to talk about this artist right now, and then I'm going to close. This artist I discovered by listening to a remix album one night at an all-night record store, Bleecker Bob's in Manhattan. They were open until I believe midnight, and sometimes I used to come out of clubs and I'd go straight over there just to check out records because they were the only record store that would be open late. And I walked into Bleecker Bob's one night after leaving the club early before I went home, and there was this really cool remix music going on, and I knew it was remix because it didn't. I knew I recognized some of the songs, but they were dance remixes or kind of dub remixes of this band called the Sugar Cubes from Iceland. I don't think I need to explain who the Sugar Cubes are. And so they had the CD there, and I said, when you're finished playing that, I want it, because they were playing the open CD that they had there. And he goes, oh, I'll take it out now. I can tell it to you right now because I'm closing soon. I said, fine. Took that home and listened to it over and over and over again. And I've known about the Sugar Cubes, but I never really paid that much attention to the Sugar Cubes because I really didn't like the male vocalist in the band. And he was kind of loud, and he kind of sort of sang kind of almost weird, quirky rap. And I didn't really like his voice that much. No judgment. But I think the remix is really focused more on the female vocalist, who I eventually found was named Bjork. And I became a fan immediately. And at that time, I believe when I was listening to this remix, this record had just come out. This was 1993 when this came out. This is her debut record. It's called Debut. And this was a game changer for me. I really realized that I didn't need to defend my taste in music. A lot of people looked at me buying this record and buying the Sugar Cubes and going, what's this stuff that you're listening to? And I didn't feel I needed to explain anything. I just said, you just don't understand it. And this is what I'm into. And I realized that I didn't need to explain her. I didn't need to defend her. This is what I like. And I will talk about artists like this that I really, really like. And I'm not alone in this. I know a lot of people love Bjork. It took a while for people to like her. And also, a lot of people didn't even know who she was until she was on the Oscar ceremony wearing the swan dress that people never, ever want to forget. And that's all they think about when they see her. And some people don't understand her voice at all. I don't care. This album is a brilliant debut album by, dare I say, a genius composer. And this is before she she was already a composer, but this was her pop record. This has the hit Human Behavior. Amazing, not only for the music, but if you see the videos that accompany this record, you realize this is an artist that you're watching. This is somebody who has put more thought into her work other than just what goes in your ears. It's also what goes in here and also what you see, because her videos are very, very visceral. Her videos are very, very descriptive. Her videos have stories that are not the normal stories, and she tells them in ways that are almost otherworldly. And that's what makes Bjork so special. Her song, Venus as a Boy, the video for that is mesmerizing, and it's simple at the same time. Human Behavior is just like a horror movie, but it's so sweet at the same time. There's also, she has a song that she does on this, let's see, Big Time Sensuality is a really great. Violently Happy is probably the most disturbing thing I've ever seen, but I can't stop watching it whenever it's on, whenever I see it. And I have the videos on DVD, on I think Blu-ray or DVD. Very disturbing, video, but so cool at the same time. Just amazing, amazing stuff on here. Um, you you really, if you haven't heard this yet, you should do yourself a favor and just stream it first. Just check it out. This is her most pop record, her most accessible record. And from there, she goes into other things that become a lot more profound, much bigger sounding, much more interesting. Or this is interesting, but just more experimental and that kind of thing. And she, as every album progresses, she gets more and more what I believe she truly feels is more to her core. And at first I didn't understand it, but now I do. It's taken me a while to catch up with her. And that's okay, you know. This is again like this is the most accessible. If you want to start somewhere with Bjork, I would start with this record because it's kind of an easy record to get into because of the beats. It's very danceable. It's very melodic. It has the basic structures of verse, verse, chorus, that type of thing. As she goes forward, it gets less and less like that, and sometimes it gets a little dissonant, and her singing becomes much different than this. But this is almost like her like a virgin or something. It's very very accessible, you know. That's all I can say to this. It's produced by Nellie Hooper and Bjork herself, you know, and really good stuff on here. Another album that I just want to talk about Bjork, and then I'm going to let you go, is, to me, I think is a masterpiece for her. Visually, from the album cover to the music that's inside. And that's Homogenic. Homogenic, I really started to listen to hear her interviews talking about the types, where she gets her ideas from, where she gets her emotional basis for her songs and her sounds and things like that. And it comes from her homeland. It comes from where she has grown up, experiences in her childhood, that type of thing. And Homogenic is a beautiful album, visually and orally. It's a gorgeous record. I mean, just look at how she looks. I have not opened this. This is unopened record. But it starts off with a song called Hunter. And the video is very cool. It's one of those things where she shape shifts throughout the whole video. Yoga is another one that's just a beautiful record that shows the landscape of Iceland, and it's just it's something to definitely see, and it helps you to understand her as an artist, as a person, as an Icelander. Just let you know. Unravel, another beautiful record. Bachelorette is another great song. There's so many great songs on this record, all neon-like. 5 Years, Immature, Alarm Call. Alarm Call is just like, Alarm Call could probably have gone to on her first album because it has kind of like a club sound to it. It doesn't start out that way, but it becomes this really big club sounding record, but very dark. Pluto, and then it finished up with All Is Full of Love, which is a very progressive, almost bolero type of song. And it's just a beautiful record, beautiful sounding record. I mean, you might want to just sit down and close your eyes and put headphones on and just listen to it from beginning to end. And it's an experience. Bjork. I think that this is an artist who doesn't need any help from me in terms of popularity. But for those who are uninitiated and looking for something interesting, looking for something thoughtful, and something truly special, pick up a Bjork record and you'll not be sorry. And I mean, again, she's not for everyone. So I'm sure there's some of you out there to be like, well, I've listened to her, I'm not into it. That's okay. I'm just saying that I'm not going to apologize for anything anymore, and I want people to not apologize for the music that they love. And I will be talking about probably lots of things that some people don't find very either interesting or anything that adds to the greatness of music. I will debate that. depending on what the artist is. And I did that with the Rufus featuring Shaka Khan. And I think that was like the first thing that I did because someone had put down the band Rufus featuring Shaka Khan and basically put down the band Rufus, not really Shaka Khan. But I had to state what I needed to state for those of us who do understand and appreciate a band like Rufus featuring Shaka Khan. The same thing goes for Rufus. I mean, same thing goes for Bjork. So in that, I'll be telling stories about my life, how I got into this music, why I got into this music, and why it's important to me, regardless of what other people feel about it. So I'm giving my perspective. And that's what you'll be getting on this channel with DJ Vinyl Vertigo. It's very good to finally figure out what this channel would certainly be about. At least my goal is to put out to people who watch. So I hope you understand. I hope I made that clear how I'm going to go forward. It'll be fun. It'll be a great journey that we can go to together. And I'd like to also hear from people in the comment section. If you disagree with me, that's fine too. And if you have artists that you think that I should probably pay attention to or have a look at, put it that way, and open my mind to, have at it. I'm always open to listen to whatever. I mean, that's why I do radio as well. So anyhow, thank you for listening. I hope you stay with me for the whole thing. I hope I didn't bore you. And we'll be going on lots of journeys together about lots of different things. And you'll get to know more about me. Whether that's interesting or not to you, we'll see. Anyway, this is DJ Vinyl Vertigo signing off and saying, keep listening to great music. And don't be afraid to explore. That's it. Thanks.